Papa. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from where you are. So we're going to be talking about some really important stuff today. And no, I don't have my cheat sheet with me because I left the house. I just wanted to leave the house. You are getting so much love, my darling. This is so amazing. And look, we're smiling. Let me tell you something. Getting Papa to smile is a major achievement. So this is good. So we're going to get started because we have to. So Papa, Nemka has joined the building. Yay! My niece. Oh, I see. It's the family affair, right? Hi, cuz, she says. So Papa, we're going to get started. Whew. All right. Real quick. Can you tell the viewers one thing about yourself that people don't know? Go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the party, everyone. Welcome. A tiny little secret, good, bad, ugly, I don't care. Just something that people don't know about you. I can go first. I have 3 nipples. Most people don't know about that. So I'm officially a freak, but that's okay. So Papa, tell us something that people don't know about you. I've had anime lovers. One guest said she likes to sing when she's thinking about some important talk. She sings the talk to herself as a way of rehearsing. What about you, Papa? Share with us something that many people don't know about you.
If you aren't close to me, maybe you don't know that I last year was in the top 0.01% of Mariah Carey's listeners on Spotify. But if you know me, then you probably know that.
And because I know you, I know that. Congratulations. Listen, this is supposed to be a fun hour. And you know what? It is what it is. 0.00 whatever. Let me ask you a question as a Mariah Carey acceptor. Did she even recognize you? Did she give you any kind of kudos and maybe call your name or something for being this huge follower?
Mariah Carey, it was on Spotify. So
Oh.
Mariah Carey's the artist and Spotify is the streaming service. And there was just something that, at the end of the year, everybody gets to see different statistics about their listening that year. And if you are a top fan of someone, it tells you. So I guess not everybody was a top fan. Definitely not. But
You were.
I was one of her top fans for Spotify. So
fantastic. So the show is called The Pride Corner, our coming out stories and more. And I'm going to be talking to members of the queer community, allies, and maybe even a couple of homophobes. Who knows? We're going to be talking about the importance of acceptance in the lives of queer people. And so today I'm joined by none other than my own soul child, Papa. So Papa, thank you so much for joining us. We're going to get started. I do not have my cheat sheet, but the first question, you already kind of tackled that like a pro that you are. The second question is, would you like to share with us why you chose to come on this? And I saw your response. But can you tell the people, the viewers, the audience, why did you choose to come and do this today?
I chose to come because you told me about it and asked me to do it, and I said yes.
Yes. Why did you say yes, though? Why did you say yes? You could have said no. You could have said maybe. Why did you say yes? Hi, Chidi. Oh, my goodness. It's a family affair. That's my boy. All right. What's going on? Why did you say yes?
I said yes because I first of all believe in the vision or the objective of having these kinds of conversations. I don't think it's too much to ask of me of an hour of my time. And I think if I were to have seen things like this when I was younger, it would have been beneficial for me. So it wouldn't make sense for me not to do it.
You know what? I'm going to let that sink in as I say hello to Chidi, my chocolate drop of a sun. I love it. Welcome, Chidi, to the party. Welcome, Dr. Andrea. you all please take a second, tap on the little arrow and invite your friends. Chidi is my numero uno. Welcome, Chidi. And then Papa, that is so powerful. You already kind of set the bar here. You're saying to us that if you had, and I'm sorry, I'm outdoors, and now the helicopter is here. So what are you gonna do? But Papa is saying that if they had people having these kinds of conversations when they were growing up, it would have been beneficial. It would have been beneficial. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you. Thank you. That is definitely affirming for me. Welcome to the party, Noah Braza. So we're talking to my numero uno. Yes, my numero uno today. And we're talking about our coming out stories and more. And they have been gracious enough to say, yes, mom, I'll do it. First of all, I'm not saying you can't say no to mom because you've had your fair share of no's, but you did say yes. And this is such an important thing to say yes. So thank you so much. I don't take that lightly. So let's get going. Would you now therefore share with us your coming out story? There's probably multiple. The guest I had yesterday said she had 12. So would you like to share any of your many, if you have more than one, coming out stories? Go.
Sure. I guess the most important one is me kind of realizing it myself. That, I mean, it's hard to say because some people really are indoctrinated in our society into believing that they are straight or that they're binary, all these things, and they live a large portion of their life really believing these things. And other people like me were pretty aware that they were different in some way pretty early on in their life, even if they didn't have the vocabulary to explain what that difference was. So for me, thinking back to kindergarten, honestly, back to kindergarten and first grade, I always I was always struck by how strict or by how I guess how like the boundaries that I was forced into concerning how I could dress and how I could act. And I always wanted to push that bar, not necessarily so I could be an activist or anything. I didn't know what an activist was, but just because that's where I personally identified with. So when I was younger, I would always run around and play. Well, I was friends with everyone, but I would especially play with the other girls in my grade. And I would always put my sweater on my head to act like I had long hair because at that time was my understanding of femininity. Obviously, my understandings of femininity have expanded since then, but I was just like, I don't see why I can't do that. Like, that's just how I feel comfortable expressing myself on the playground. And luckily, I had teachers that they were, even if they weren't, I don't know if they were supportive as much as they weren't antagonistic about it. They may have seen me do it and maybe thought something to themselves, but some of them were also quite fostering. They were very accepting of me, even though it was a Baptist Christian school. The teachers I had were pretty accepting. I was at the age where I don't think a lot of kids had internalized homophobia at that time. Well, not internalized. I don't think a lot of kids really thought of things as, I don't think they understood that they needed to police things, because obviously we're raised to believe that we have to police other people's expression of gender. So at that age, people were pretty just open, like, okay, like Papa wants to wear that, so Papa wears that, I wish it was that easy now, but back then nobody really said anything to me about it. So those were my first inklings that maybe I was different gender-wise, but I didn't actually explore that more until undergrad. So from I think age 5 or 6, maybe I was thinking I was a bit different. And then by the time I got to middle school, I was kind of bullied and um, forced into repression. And so that's specifically gender, right?
Okay, I'm going to ask you to stop there for two reasons. First of all, I would like to reset the room. So welcome, queer officiants. Hi. Hey, girl. Welcome, Noah Braza, Marisa 1177, Andrea Tenata, Chidi, my baby. We are speaking to my numero uno. Yes. I like to I like to say my young adult, what did I say? My non-binary young adult human. I love that they have blessed me today with their presence to share in this journey, which I don't take lightly. But I also like that you mentioned that that as young as kindergarten, and ironically, yesterday I posted in my Facebook group that Dwayne Wade, the basketballer from I think, Miami Heat, or maybe former, I don't know. Either way, they had posted also that their trans daughter knew from when she was 3 that she was trans. And this is one of the things I tell people all the time. Children know as early as all children know. So if a cisgendered boy knows that they're cisgendered at 3, transgendered boys know at 3. Now, if they don't come out to you, it doesn't change the fact that they know. And I love the way Papa put it better than I did, that in kindergarten, about the age of 5 or 6, they knew that they were different, but had no vocabulary. The lexicon is just growing now, thank goodness. But they didn't have the vocabulary. So again, note that your child might not have the vocabulary. They might not have the vocabulary. It doesn't mean that they are not. So, Papa, thank you so much for talking about that. Welcome to the show, everyone. The show is called The Pride Corner. And yes, I am outdoors, downtown San Antonio. And we're being welcomed by everyone, including the helicopters. Um, so just bear with us with regards to sound. But if you can hear me very well, please give me a thumbs up, or I don't know, a heart or love or something, so we can keep going. So Papa, keep going. I wanted to just take a moment to reset the room. So the show is called The Pride Corner, and we're talking about our coming out stories and more. My name is Dr. Lulu, aka the Momatrician. I coach parents of queer children on their acceptance journey. It's a huge thing for me right now. I just quit medicine last week to do this, so I'm very excited. So Papa, please keep going. Welcome to the party. No problem, Rob. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hi, Kayla. So Papa, keep going.
Okay. So, like I said, I didn't really explore my gender queerness, I guess, until halfway through undergrad. But in middle school, or actually as early as having latent uh, latent queer feelings. I mean, so middle school in white suburbia, which is where we were definitely in hardcore white suburbia. Middle school in white suburbia for a queer Black kid is probably one of the most, if not like the most violent time. Well, I should speak for myself. It was definitely the most violent time of my life. Um, I think because at that age, growing teens are less likely to reach out to their parents for help. They really feel like they have to figure everything out by themselves, or that they're just alone. I was getting messages from every corner that I was worthless, that I was ugly, that I was disgusting, that I was reprehensible. At that age, people were calling me a rapist because they thought I was gay. I wasn't out at that point, but they were just saying horrible things about me. I would hear things from other people. I didn't know if anyone was truly my friend, although thinking back to it, I had friends who, because of my own biases at the time, I wasn't able to accept their love. However, at that but it was also a kind of self-preservation response. I really didn't know who to trust. Um, and because of those things, like, it was very hard for me to separate like the truth about my queerness from like what society and what my communities were telling me about my queerness. Because also, I didn't really see any older Black queer people in my life, or Black gay people in my life. I just didn't see a future for me. I could not imagine how the heck I was going to grow up, because it seemed like everybody was telling me I was a scourge, and I wasn't seeing anybody older, who was a scourge. So I just didn't even know where I was going to go. So obviously I was having, well, maybe not obviously, but I'm telling you, I was having very often, suicidal thoughts, and just thoughts of not necessarily self-harm, but just what would it be like if I didn't have to like live anymore. So it wasn't until, but at that point I was very aware, yeah, I'm definitely not straight, I'm definitely gay, but I didn't tell anyone that, even though everyone pretty much knew, because I guess my mannerisms, my voice, my preferences, like I played the flute, and in the US the flute is seen as an instrument that girls play, at least at a younger age. So those things weren't really helping. But when we moved to Texas in 9th grade, I was able to redefine myself, and as someone who was an excellent musician and an excellent student, and I kind of hid behind that, so I didn't have to really come to terms with what my sexuality was. I actually looked down on students who like were interested in those kinds of things, because I didn't really know what to make of it. And I felt I didn't see any space that would be fostering of me if I were to explore it more. I did join the GSA, but even when I was in the GSA, I felt like I think I'll just support other people in their journeys, but I don't really feel like I would be supported or anything.
Okay, can you stop there and just tell us what is GSA? I know what it is, but
Yeah,
again, because
sorry.
yeah, no, that's okay. And you know what? As your mother, I actually thought you were one of the people that started it.
Yeah,
Is that correct? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
I
I,
was.
I feel
I
that
was.
space with that information in my head. I thought you were one of the people that started it, or you were one. Yeah. So, but can you tell the viewers what is GSA? And again, I apologize. I am downtown San Antonio. While it's beautiful, we have sights and sounds of living, including the popo, the helicopter, the lawnmower, the people doing the tour on the river. So just bear with me, and just let's try to focus on the message today, and try to avoid listening, because I'm having a hard time not listening to the distractions. But you are saying some really important stuff. So everyone, thank you so much for joining. ekDER, question Kayla 28 from yesterday. No problem, Rob, Chidi, Queer Option. Everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please take a moment to tap on the little arrow at the bottom right of your screen and invite your friends to join so we can keep going. The show is called The Pride Corner, our coming out stories and more, with me, Dr. Lulu. Today is a down day. I'm downtown, and we're just, the show must go on. So I'm talking to my numero uno, my first human out of my vajayjay, because I like to say that. And we're discussing their own story in words. So thank you so much again, Papa, for joining us. So keep going. Thank you so much.
Yeah, so the GSA, at my school, that stood for Gay Straight Alliance. It really ended up just being a group for people who were out and people who were on their way out. And I want to say the only straight people there were the teachers, like the teacher sponsor people. Although I have no idea, they may have been bi, but they were all like married. They were in heterosexual marriages. So it was definitely it was a great space to have. I'm lucky that I went to a high school that most of the teachers, if you looked on their doors, they had the little ally sticker. I don't know how serious they were about it, but at least in Texas, it's different being in a place where the expectation isn't to be liberal and progressive, because having an ally sticker in a Texas high school, it's not that it's a risk necessarily, but it's not like necessarily the status quo either, as opposed to where I am right now for college Boston. I mean, it would be weird if people didn't have those kinds of things. And I could speak more on that, but anyway, so yeah, I was a part of its conception as well, but I ended up spending most of my time. So probably my sophomore year or junior year, and that was also around the time when I was going through confirmation, Catholic confirmation. Um, I definitely didn't want to do confirmation. I was forced to do
Can
confirmation by my
you still
mother,
see me?
and
Papa, can you see
I can
me?
still see you. Yes, I
Okay,
can still
because
see
your
you.
baby brother is calling on the other line. So I'm just going to do something really crazy. Y'all, if you're watching me, just bear with me. This is Mama Bear. Chukudi, if you're still here, please tell your baby brother that I'll call him in a minute. I don't know what else to do. Papa, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
So, yeah, I was forced to go through confirmation. I had no interest in doing it, but the good thing about going through confirmation is it. So
Confirm. It's confirmed for you.
yeah, I was really one of the reasons why my sexuality coming out story might be frozen. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, but I can't
Okay,
see myself, but that's okay.
okay, great. So I was saying is the part of the reason why my coming out sexuality story was difficult for me was because I was trying to unlearn a lot of negative things that I had internalized due to the religion I was raised up in. And that's not to say that you can't be queer and Catholic, but the way I internalized the messages that I heard was that you couldn't be, or that I also wasn't interested in trying to figure out a way to be because religion wasn't important to me and still isn't.
Yeah.
So at that time, when I was forced to go through my confirmation classes, I was put in a situation where I could ask hard questions, things that I needed to understand, and I wasn't getting satisfactory answers at all.
Yeah.
So, I finished my confirmation, and it was funny because when I was doing the final ritual in the confirmation, like the ceremony, I remember I can't remember exactly what the final ritual is, but it's something to do with the priest and like going to the priest or whatever. And I remember when when that ritual was happening, I was thinking like, I'm such an atheist. Like, this is just like so not me. And like,
Confirming. Yes.
literally the only thing this confirmation has done is pushed me farther away from this religion, which I was happy about because it just wasn't me. I'm not religious, and I needed to really move away from that space because it was very harmful for me. So that was around the time where I was trying to figure out, okay, like, if I'm not religious, like, what does that mean for me in the afterlife? Is there an afterlife? All these questions were happening concurrently with me coming out and trying to understand my sexuality. Anyway, so senior year came and I decided to apply to a bunch of schools that I thought I saw as like places I could be freely queer and explore those parts of myself. I specifically applied to schools that were away from home. I really wanted to get out of the South because that's where I'd lived my entire life. And I, at that point, saw the South as a place where I couldn't be openly queer and I wouldn't be supported. My views on that have changed at this point, but back then I definitely
I love
thought
it.
that I needed to move somewhere else. So I applied to a bunch of schools and I ended up deciding to go to Stanford, which I'm so happy that I chose to go to Stanford, not because of academics, not because of all the regular reasons that people choose to go to Stanford, but looking back at my time there, the things that I learned about myself and the the experiments that I conducted, I guess, and the different things I tried out really, without the kind of um, without, I don't want to say burden, but without the expectations that come with being, I guess, the overachieving first kid. um, I was really able to figure out, like, who am I independent of my family? Who am I independent of my home? Like, what kinds of things do I want in my friendships? Because during high school, my friendships were, I think I had close relationships with some of my friends, but a lot of them were utility based, as in, these people are also, and that sounds really manipulative, and
I
it really
know.
wasn't like that. It was more just like, it's difficult to survive that many AP classes if you aren't friends with other people who are taking those classes. And
Yes.
and also in band, it's like, it just made sense to be friends with people then. But I didn't really have like a basis for how I define friends or what I look for in friendships. So, that was something I had to figure out about myself, because I also didn't understand like boundaries between friendships, like platonic friendships and sexual friendships and romantic relationships. Like, these were all things I'd never tried or worked with myself with during high school, and going to Stanford was very important for me to be very far away from like everyone else at home. Although one of my good friends from high school went with me, but it
But
was it
wait,
was
but
good
even
for.
before you go any further, can you, if you can hear my voice, and if you can hear Papa O's voice, do me a favor, please send this human being flowers for going to Stanford, okay? How many people do you know, if you're watching me right now, went to Stanford? And I don't know if I'm allowed to say graduated at the top of the class. How many people do you know? So please, if you can hear my voice, send this human being flowers, because I think it's important to give props when they do. And this is one person that will never accept that they're good enough. So thank you so much, Mary, Mary, Mary. You're getting flowers, honey. Chidi, yay! Zoe, yay! Yes! Thank you for sending flowers, because it's not everyone. And I know I birthed this person from my vajayjay. I know that. But going to Stanford was, what was it, 1% of the 1% acceptance rate, or was it whenever you went in? Can you remind us, please?
um I think
1%.
it was like, no, I think it was closer to like, it was like six. I think it was like
Okay,
6 or 5, something like that.
6% acceptance. Wow. The point I'm trying to make is, plus you graduated at the top of your grade. Can I just get a round of applause? Everyone, please give, because it's important for me as a mother, but also because you majored in a what is it, a major, you had a major that most people that heard my child was at Stanford always ask me, what is it, for basketball scholarship, is it for basketball, they always kind of put you in this space that you must be a basketball player, that's the only way you. And I said, no, actually was for academics. For academics big time. And on top of it, you are on the scholarship right now in grad school. You have a full ride. And yes, I'm going to say it, I can brag, I'm your mother. You can't take that from me. So I think it's important for us to show that this human being who struggled so much was still able to manifest this other human being who is doing so much, and such an inspiration for their brother, their mother, people who hear them speak. I don't take that lightly. But imagine if the world hadn't, maybe we can jump to the next question if possible. If you hadn't gone through all of the stuff that you went through, do you think, of course you can't say, but do you know if you would have been who you are today? You're getting so much love. I love it. Do you think? I don't know.
Um, I will say that I don't really believe in the struggle for the struggle's sake. I don't believe that people are better people because they experience trauma. I think that, like, oh, I had a hard class and it forced me to really buckle down and time manage and prioritize. Yeah, that's a good kind of struggle. But I know a lot of Black queer kids who, you know, went through similar or worse situations than I did in middle school, and they weren't better for it. I know
Exactly.
a lot of people who
And
didn't
some
go
of
through
them got
those
it. Yes,
things,
thank you.
and they were better for it. So no, I don't. I think if I didn't go through those things, like, I would probably be a better person. I've had to work a lot, and I'm in therapy, and I just spent a lot of time by myself trying to figure out, like, or trying to take apart and unpack all the harm that I experienced back then. I'd like to say now, like, for instance, like, there was a time throughout undergrad where if I would hear people like whispering nearby, I would think they were talking about me. People who I have no idea, I've never met them before because of how I was traumatized in middle school.
Yeah.
And I don't think I was a better person for having that unnecessary, like, irrational fear that people next to me are whispering about me.
Yeah.
Like, if I didn't experience those things in middle school, I would definitely be I think I'm a pretty great person now. And I think I would have just gotten here faster.
I think so.
Gotten here way faster. I would have gotten here with way fewer tears. I would have made similar mistakes, but I would have seen them as mistakes earlier. Like, I don't think I'm better off because of the things I experienced, and that's why I want to work towards a world where people don't experience things like that. Like, in undergrad, I worked in this program where I got to work with middle schoolers from the nearby area in East Palo Alto, which East Palo Alto is a part of the San Francisco Bay Area that has been, let's just say that the relationship between East Palo Alto and Stanford is parasitic. It's gentrified. It's being gentrified. Black residents are forced out. Latinx residents are starting to be forced out. College grads are moving into the areas, and the rent prices are going through the roof. This is like an area that is worse off because of Stanford being nearby. So I was working with these youth, and it was amazing to me how many, like, I mean, not a high number, but the queer youth that were there, that were out, were talking about, oh, me and my boyfriend this, me and my girlfriend this, like, just talking about it. And everyone around was just like, yeah, great. Like, I mean, of course they were experiencing homophobia to a degree, but like, they were able to literally be queer 11 and 12-year-olds. I could never have fathomed that we would get there. Like, in my entire life.
Papa,
And
that was such a powerful point you made, and I forgive me if I stop you sometimes, because the way the message lands on me is obviously not the way you maybe want it to, but that piece, what you said, I want you to say it again for those at the back. The fact that they were queer, outed 11 and 12-year-olds, able to just be 11 and 12-year-old queer outed. This is so important, obviously, because you, on the other hand, didn't have that. So,
yeah, I wouldn't say they weren't outed. They were out.
I mean, no, I mean, outed is what I use. Outed as the past tense of coming out. I think you know what I mean, and that's what I meant. I didn't mean that they were okay. Maybe I should.
Because outed, yeah, you should use
out.
another word. Because outed out.
Outed means like, okay, good. So they were in the out, okay, in the open. I don't know, open.
They were out.
Queer
okay. And out youth.
So the queer and out, and so, and also I want anyone who's watching me, when I say that your child should be your teacher, that's a moment right there, because I don't know everything, and I'm always willing to learn. So queer and out is what I wanted to say, and I said outed, and thank you for correcting me. It's important that we get the lingo right. But going back to that, I want you all to see that Papa is saying that there are 11 and 12-year-olds on the flip side of their life that were able to live out without, in their own case, in the dark and being bullied almost towards, no, not almost, but towards suicidal ideations. So thank you, Papa. I hope I was able to say that queer and out and able to be there. Yes, that's what I meant. Zoe, thank you. So
Yeah,
y'all, please keep inviting your friends. Thank you. Go ahead, Papa.
I would also kind of push back against your children being your teachers. I think parents that don't understand this should definitely follow their children's lead, but they're still the parents, and it's on them to do the work to support their child. The child is already going through a lot,
Enough, yeah.
you know, coming out as queer. Not saying that this is what you did, but for parents that may be listening, definitely it's not on your child to teach you how to love them unconditionally. It's definitely on you to listen to them when they tell you what they need. It's on you to ask questions if you don't understand something and accept that you just won't understand everything immediately. And then it's also on you to process, you know, the maybe uncomfortability or difficulty of all of this on your own terms, and don't put that on your child. Because I know that growing up, there were times when I felt like, I mean, and I know you were going through a lot, obviously, so I don't blame you for anything, but there were times when it felt like I was doing my own work, and then I was doing the work of my siblings, and then I was doing the work of my mom, and then I was doing the work of my dog. Like, I was just doing everyone's work, and which is a part of the reason why I felt like I needed to jet to somewhere else very far away so I could just do my own thing. And I'm lucky that I was able to handle it, but I don't think everybody is, and nobody should have to. So just, yeah, definitely I don't want the dynamic of parent and child to turn into child teacher, parent students. It's more like parent learner, parent follower, and parents doing the work.
Like no. I totally get it. I think all of those things are all of them are correct. There will be some things, though, that I know I learned from you, whether you want to call yourself as a teacher or, I don't know, a guide. But what happened just now, that piece that happened just now was necessary. And I have no problems, as you know, leaning in when I need to, and you have no problem pushing back. That's how I raised you. You should push back when it's necessary. And you know what? It's all good, because as far as I'm concerned, I'm a lifelong learner. Yes, heaven knows that there are enough parents out there who are not willing to lean in, which is why we're here today. And someone said, sends link to parents immediately. No problem, Rob. Thank you so much for that. That was awesome. Miri, supporter. Yes, supporter. And then Lady Music said, agreed, Namdi. We're getting a lot of good comments here. Someone else said, Zoe. Okay, Zoe was trying to write that down. And I think Miri says, wow, out and confident queer 11 and 12-year-olds just living their lives. Wow. And of course, Miri is queer and Nigerian and in the medical field. So that individual gets it. Also, we have, yes, would have gotten here faster. Exactly. Woo, you're preaching to me now. Thank you so much. And then they said that part, I don't believe in struggle for struggle's sake. So people are quoting you, which you may not have come into this show to do that, but I think I've told you before that you need to seriously think about being a motivational speaker for because even when you were 3, when you were 7, when you were 11, I told you, I reminded you about this, when you were 4. Okay, people, I'm going to say this because as their mother, I do get to share some experiences, right? When they were 4, we were at a restaurant and we were waiting to be called in, and then this individual walks up to this big, burly Texan, North Carolinian, who was smoking, and says, sir, did you know that smoking can kill you? And I ran and grabbed my child because I was like, they're gonna kill my child. So I've always encouraged you to speak out. Hell, I got in trouble all the time for speaking, but today I get paid thousands of dollars for speaking. So I've always encouraged you to speak out, and I'm making it public. I'm inviting you to be a keynote speaker at the event I'm going to be having in October, in the fall. Let me put it in the fall. So,
and I told you that it depends on my school, because that's the most important thing to me right now.
I know, but you know what? It's also important for me to put it out there. And I've always said that you can, no is a complete sentence. You don't even have to give me a reason. But I want it to be out because I've invited a few other guests. I don't want them to say, oh my goodness, I can't believe she didn't invite her child. That's not the intention here. But I do know that you have a lot. You know, when you remember, I don't know if you remember when Barack Obama was being sworn into president. And I said, I don't know if you remember, but I said, you are going to be a president one day. A parent always knows. You don't have to believe me, but that's...
I have no interest in being the head of an imperialist warmongering state. Zero interest whatsoever.
It's going to happen because I've seen it. So, but I'm so happy that you're getting quoted. People are quoting you. Best way to meet the mama. Wow, I see so much of both of you in each other. Oh, well, you know what? I never saw a fruit that fell far away from the tree. You know, I never saw one. If you show me one, then that fruit was taken there by someone else. So I appreciate that. So let's keep going. We're at the last quarter, and it looks like you've already done a few things already. You've already kind of talked to the parents. We were going to go into that. So in the last quarter, we spent that. Well, first of all, I guess I do need to ask you an important question. And I think you already kind of answered it. Did you feel accepted growing up as a queer person? Can you hear
By
me?
who?
I'm having to
Yeah,
speak.
we can hear you. I can hear you. By who? By whom?
Okay, if you can hear me, please say yes. But I think Papa said that you can hear me.
We can all. I can hear you very well. So, who was accepted by whom?
You know what? I haven't narrowed it down. In all the previous interviews, I've always just said, do you feel accepted? And someone, I think it was yesterday's guest or the day before, said, well, in this case, they felt accepted with this one, and then this one they didn't feel accepted. So I guess I'm just open. Do you feel like, did you or did you not? I think you already answered that. Future president of NEC. That's good.
I would say not really. I think, I mean, I think you've just grown a lot recently, and that's awesome. I'm really happy where you are. But before like last year, like, I wouldn't really say that. I felt like I could come to you about anything. Like, especially in high school, I think you were just working through a lot of your trauma and trying to unlearn your biases. So you would say things that were pretty, like, they were homophobic, or I don't know, you'd like see, and this is really not to harp on you, but this is just my experience.
No,
like, you would
it's
see,
an open
like,
dialogue. You at this point where I am today, you just
okay,
go ahead and just say it. I mean, that's what we're doing here. I'm not going to come to you, my child, and then ask you to edit your response. That's not growth. For me, growth means you got to go through it. So I'm good.
okay. Well, okay, for instance, if we saw like an effeminate gay man on TV, like, you kind of always made a point to like point it out and point out how effeminate they were, how gay they were, and that was like the joke. And I was like, that's weird, because like at that point, I identified as a gay man, and I was like, I feel like I'm pretty effeminate. So like, if this is how you feel about like random people you don't know, then like I definitely don't feel comfortable telling you about this. And and this is while you were in a same gender marriage. So it was really just awkward and uncomfortable for me, as well as because of your Catholic upbringing. You really saw like things like pornography and things like even sex before marriage as kind of taboo. And that's just like that wasn't helpful for me, because I still had questions and I didn't know where else to get them. So I ended up internalizing really harmful messages about me and my body from unsolicited sources on the internet. Because obviously I wasn't talking to my friends, because I didn't have any queer friends. I just had friends that were mostly cis straight women. I mean, I had some friends that were definitely supportive, but they couldn't answer my questions, and I didn't know where to go about to get those questions answered. and I knew I couldn't bring them to you. So it ended up being like a thing where I had to be very secretive about things. And that doesn't create for a great, parent-child dynamic. That was partly the reason why I wanted to jet off to the ends of the world, because I was like, I need to be able to just be myself and not feel like I'm trying to hide from anyone. And whenever things happen to me concerning, like whenever scary things happen to me concerning my sexuality, anytime I would tell you, you would freak out. And it was just, I felt like, okay, well, it seems like my support system is just my friends at this point, which is great. I had awesome friends, still have great friends from undergrad that I rely on, and am glad to be a part of their life. But I wouldn't say, I mean, obviously you weren't trying to like kick me out because I was queer or anything like that. But like my queerness and my, coming out religion story were pretty intertwined. And your response to me coming out as atheist was very, very violent and like very unsupportive. So I would just say that at least back then, no, I didn't feel supported.
Okay, very good. So the next part of the question that I've asked everyone has been, how has that, and I think you already kind of answered this, but how did that experience affect who you are today? So I think we kind of went back a little bit already. So if there's anything that you hadn't said that you would like to say, then just go ahead. As far as how all of that experience affected or kind of created who you are today. I think you kind of touched on it.
I mean, who I am today is someone in spite of my experiences. Um, I've really had to work to overcome irrational fears. I'm still working to overcome irrational disgust of myself that I internalized. Like, I would say that everything that happened, not everything, but a lot of what happened before undergrad and even during undergrad, I had to work to counter, or else I would be, I don't even know what I would be today. I definitely wouldn't be strong as I am. And I don't like calling queer people resilience or inherently resilient or things like that, because queer people are humans just like everyone else. And there's a limit to how much trauma we can experience. But I will say that when my choice was like resiliency or suicide, I'm happy that I chose to keep trying and keep going.
Yes.
And leaning into what I love, which is music making. Like, I can easily say, and I'll always say this, that playing the flute saved my life, which honestly, I owe that to you, because you were always supportive of my music endeavors. And even whenever I wanted to do band in middle school, I remember telling you and crying, and you were like, okay. And then you went and talked to them, and then I got to audition, and then I got to join band. And I can say that definitely saved my life. If I didn't join band in middle school, I would not be here. So,
Don't forget the flute that we had to buy at 3 o'clock in the morning. Your first flute.
Yeah, that first flute that I still have at home. All those things, and I owe that only to you, because I know, my dad wasn't at all supportive. So that was all you. I mean, it was all you listening to your child. Your child told you, I need this, and you were like, okay. And even if, I mean, you're a musician yourself, you like singing things, but like, even if you didn't completely understand it, you were like, okay, this is what you need, so I'll help you get it. So yeah, I would say, in spite of all the horrible stuff, not that my life is some tragic story, there are people that have had far worse experiences, but in spite of all of the struggle and difficulty and unlearning I had to do, and I'm still doing, I think I turned out to be okay. I mean, I'm only 23. Like, I think I'm like I can have like a quarter life crisis now, I think, if I wanted to have one. So.
Is that a thing? That's a good one. You're getting so much love. Someone said yes to music. Lady Music said toot toot. I'm not sure. I'll let you fix. I'm not sure who I am. Someone in spite of. Okay, so I'm just reading the comments. Very good. So we're at the home stretch. Quarter life crisis. I know, right? That's a new one for me. We're at the home stretch, and I have a question here. Lady Music 2 minutes ago said, how did your sensibilities towards queerness after growing up in Nigeria change after moving here? They didn't really change because I was still Catholic. I was still as Catholic as I was. But Papa did not grow up in, I don't know if the question was for me or for Papa. Papa did not grow up in Nigeria. But I would like you, if you don't mind, to please ask me that question on my TikTok, because that's where I do things about me and I give tips. So Lady Music, thank you so much. That's a great question, but I really want to focus on the guests. I mean, it makes sense, but I'm not going to respond more than it didn't change much. So we're on our last 7 minutes, Papa. So please share with the both. Yeah. Okay. Well, Papa did not grow up in Nigeria, so it's not really relevant. But Papa, before I forget my train of thoughts, before I let you go, can you tell us 2 things? First of all, where can the listeners find you if you want to share that? And then secondly, what words do you have for children? Because I think you already said something about parents earlier on. For children who find themselves in your situation, queer, questioning, bullied, Catholic, I don't know, toss it in, whatever mix of things that mix up the salad called Papa. What would you say to the child, or maybe your inner child, if that's how you want to go about it? Is the question
Sure.
clear? Yes.
So the answer to the first question is nowhere right now. I mean, I don't really have like a public profile or anything. All of my stuff is private for personal reasons. I mean, I'm maybe gonna start a TikTok, but that's like not even a focus right now. So nowhere for right now, unless I come back to do stuff for you. The second question, I will say I was never really a Catholic child, so I can't really speak to that. Like even whenever I was participating in Catholic rituals and going to like Catholic school on the weekdays, I only really did that because I liked to succeed in academic stuff, and it was fun to like memorize Bible verses and like understand. And I also thought some of the Bible mythology was interesting, so I found interest in a very like scientific way. But if I'm being honest, I never really had a connection with God ever in my life. I just thought I'm supposed to, so I felt like I was making it up half the time. But for people who maybe are struggling with their religion or don't feel like they really belong and are just kind of going through the motions because everyone in their community is, just know that, like, I guess just think about it this way. Okay, maybe the religion you practice says that people like you go to hell just because you're you. But if you don't subscribe to that religion, then you're not going to hell.
I love
because
that.
there are so many other religions that people believe in that don't have those, that is an essential part of their dogma. Not that that's an essential part of Catholic dogma. It depends on who you talk to, but there are many other religious people who practice other religions. And if you told them, oh, well, according to this other religion, this is your consequence for existing the way you are, they would laugh at you because they don't believe in that. So if you're feeling that way, just understand, the guilt and self-hate that you've been taught to feel about yourself only exists, in that religion. And there are so many, if you need to be religious, there are so many other religions you can turn to. So many other religions that might fit your, that might fit what you need or what you're looking for, the answers to questions you can't answer. There are many other religions. There's also atheism and agnosticism, which is, well, I'm an atheist, so that's the route I went. But just know that, you don't have, of course, this is easy to say as a 23-year-old who, like, I don't have to go to church if I don't want to. But even as a kid, just know, like, there's more to life than where you are right now. Keep going through. I know it's easy to say, but as someone who, had to keep telling themselves that every day, it's possible. It's hard. It's not easy, but eventually you'll get to a point in your life where you have agency to do what you want, to have people in your life that you want to have in your life, to practice whatever religion you want, to do sports. So like whatever you want to do, you will get to a point in your life where you aren't beholden to anyone else. And it is very much worth getting to that point in your life than giving up because you can't see that point yet.
I love it. I love it. I don't think I can even add anything. Not that I was going to, but that was so beautifully said. And if you're feeling the love from the words that are coming out of their mouth, please, 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 please just type it in the comment section. I mean, this is just so powerful. If you don't subscribe to that religion, then you're not going to hell. That, I think, is like a mic drop moment right there. This is my human. This is my own child. So proud of you, Mom. And I know you know that. So proud. Mama's so proud. Thank you for coming today. Can you hear me? You're frozen. Yes, okay. Thank you so much for coming today. Your baby brother was on the other line a minute ago. I hope they're going to wait a little bit. Thank you to everyone who joined us. Flowers for very good from Mir. Thank you. Also, Dr. Ann, welcome to the party. If you missed any bit of this show, please do me a favor. Rewind and watch it because it doesn't get any better. Every time Papa is on my show, I cry. I already had a big crying spell today, so I didn't get to cry. But thank you so much, Papa, for coming and blessing us. It is definitely appreciated. My name is Dr. Lulu. You can follow me right here on Instagram at Ask Dr. Lulu. Tell anyone who needs to hear this. It's every single day at 1 p.m. Central. I'm talking to a member of the queer community or an ally or a homophobe or a coach, I don't know, whoever. I'm talking to them every single day through the month of June, but also some people have requested July, so July is open now. So if you'd like to share your story, just send me a DM. I'll send you the link and I'll see you on the show. And then also I have a TikTok channel I'm very proud of. It's brand new, but I'm trending. Hello. It's called Dr. Lulu. If you type Dr. Lulu, but otherwise my handle is at Uchenna, which is my first name. So that's it. I'm taking a break from Facebook, but if you'd like to, I have a Facebook group that's growing at the speed of light. It's called Positively Parenting Your LGBTQ plus child. Please find it, join in. We allow everyone to join in, but if you say one homophobic statement, we will mute you and then we'll check you out. Just that's the process. Otherwise, thank you all so much, everyone. Lady Music, great question. Louis Amaya, you missed my baby. You just got here. But thank you all so much for joining. It was awesome. Oh, Papa, by the way, Louis Amaya is my creative director on my TikTok. So Louis, say hello to your baby sibling, I guess, at this point, because I pretty much adopted them as my son. But Papa, you were awesome. Please take a bow. Know that you are destined for greatness. I know it. I can see it. Everyone that watched you today will attest to it. Even if I'm your mother, I know that you are destined for greatness. And that is the church bell chiming to say that it's 1 o'clock. I am downtown San Antonio. This is what I'm dealing with today. Beautiful scenery. Wanted to show all of y'all that I'm not always going to be in my house. So today I'm outside and it is okay. So it's 2:01. I gotta let Papa go. If you have any questions whatsoever, please send me a DM. Please follow me on TikTok at Uchenna. Please follow me on Instagram at Ask Dr. Lulu. Please tell somebody about this show so that maybe, just maybe, the life we're going to be saving is theirs. Oh my God.
It's okay.
No, until they bite. Okay. Yes.
Careful
That's what
out
the lady
there.
said to the man with the dog that bit her. But anyway, all of y'all, thank you so much for joining. Papa, did you have maybe going away words that maybe something that you didn't say? You want to try to?
I think I said everything. Thanks everyone for coming.
Thank you so much. Lady Music, I'm not sure. Oh, me.